It's been a very, very long time coming, but it looks as though Tottenham are finally about to get the Djed Spence transfer over the line, as numerous reporters in the last 20 or so minutes have reported that the club are on the verge of a complete agreement with Middlesbrough over the transfer of the young right back. It's a deal that, to be honest, with the way it's been going for this summer, it's kind of reminded us of where we come from. You know, we've been spoiled with the transfers of Yves Bissouma. You know, we heard about that on a Tuesday, deal agreed, it was completed by the Friday. Richarlison may be a bit different, but we've been so used to this summer of deals getting over the line quickly that Djed Spence has kind of brought us back to our roots a little bit and shown us what it has been like in the past. But it is one that is expected to get over the line by the weekend, to be honest. And we'll run through quickly all of the reports that have come out in the last, again, I think it's maybe 20-25 minutes since these started surfacing. The first one I saw, it's actually 19 minutes ago, Martin Hardy on Twitter. He is from the Times, the Sunday Times. He reported that he expects Djed Spence to Spurs to go through tomorrow. Tomorrow, that is Friday. Since then, there's been an endless barrage of reports coming out, and we're going to run through all of them now. The first one after that was David Ornstein, the man of the window, to be honest. The most reliable source in this transfer window, has been absolutely on the ball the whole way through, and he said that Tottenham are on the verge of a total agreement with Middlesbrough to sign the England under-21 right-back Djed Spence. Negotiations between Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy, his Middlesbrough counterpart Steve Gibson, and the players' representative Scott Smith are believed to have produced a breakthrough, and the transfer is on the cusp of being done. He said as well, if all goes to plan, a medical is expected to take place in the next 48 hours. So he's saying this one is very, very close to completion. And again, if it goes to plan, a medical could be done by Saturday. More reports that have come out since then. John Percy of The Telegraph said that there has been a breakthrough in talks today in Tottenham's £15 million pursuit of Djed Spence. So the finer details will be concluded on Friday. So again, kind of following on with that first report from Martin Hardy, that this one could be completed tomorrow. John Percy gave a bit more kind of context on the transfer. He said Djed Spence appeals to Tottenham due to his potential, ability and age, whilst he will also top up the homegrown quota. So I know that homegrown quota is one that we don't really like talking about, because it's, you know, it kind of seems inconsequential, and that the club are never going to miss that quota. You know, we're always going to be in a position that the club is. I know we've questioned the ability of the board in the past, but they're obviously not stupid enough to bring us into the season where we haven't met that quota. But Djed Spence is a player that does fit that bill. Lyle Thomas of Sky Sports said the final negotiations are ongoing over an initial fee of £12.5 million, rising to a potential total in the region of £20 million if add-ons are met. And it was unsurprising to see that the add-ons are a huge part of this deal. So £7.5 million of £20 million, nearly half. It's 37.5% of this deal reliant on add-ons. And I think why that's important and why that's unexpected is that we've heard the whole way throughout this deal, in the last couple of weeks especially, there's been a report, a tier 1 report come out kind of every couple of days saying, well, this one is close, this one is we expect it to get over the line soon. But what seems to have been the situation there is that Middlesbrough themselves kept on moving the goalposts. So I think when we heard that Daniel Levy was the man in charge of these negotiations, we just feared the worst, that he was penny pinching, that he was a HMQ there says you can tell Levy has been looking after this one. Look, absolutely, you know, if Parachi had been on this, I assume it would have got over the line faster. But it seems as though Middlesbrough have been moving the goalposts with the add-on. So there has been some, I wouldn't say complete agreements, but some kind of general agreements within these deals. And then Middlesbrough have turned around and said, we'd actually like this in add-ons, we like this in add-ons. And I'm sure a big part of this is what would trigger those add-ons. Because as he says, as Lyle Thomas says, a potential total in the region of 20 million if add-ons are met. So it could be if Tottenham make it to the semi-final of the Champions League, if Tottenham win the FA Cup, that sort of stuff. So it can be very difficult to agree what triggers those add-ons, because Tottenham are going to expect a lot more and hope for a lot more from the club than Middlesbrough would. So we might say if we make it to the semi-final of the Champions League, which might be a very legitimate goal within our club, but from the Middlesbrough perspective, they might see that as impossible. So it can be difficult to kind of balance those sort of stuff, but it looks as though that has been completed now, and a deal, again, Lyle Thomas saying we're in the final negotiations. Further reports, Alistair Gold, who earlier today said that there was no deals close to completion in or out of Tottenham. He has now said that Tottenham are closing in on an agreement for Djed Spence after making progress this afternoon. Not done yet, but finally getting there. So again, just important that it's not done yet. There is still a bit of work to do. There are the finer details of that agreement that still need to be met, but we are on the verge of that complete agreement with Middlesbrough. Another report, Fabrizio Romano has said that Daniel Levy is working on the Spence deal to get it done as soon as possible. So Daniel Levy still out in Korea on that pre-season tour with the rest of the squad and with Don Fabio Paratici. He is working on this one to try and get it done and across the line as early as possible. And that's it on the reports that have come out anyway. I saw a question there. Joe says, did the Walker-Peters talk make this happen? And look, I think yes and no. You know, clubs all the time use, put kind of fake news out there to force the hand of someone that they are negotiating with. And I think the best example we have of that in this window so far is when things were kind of reaching a climax and we're coming to that culmination in the advances for Bastoni. Just as it came through that maybe Inter Milan would be making their decision, it was leaked that Tottenham were in talks with Pau Torres and progressing and trying to get that deal done. That was, I think we could safely say, it wasn't true. That was just to force Inter Milan and Bastoni into making that decision as early as possible. They did. It didn't go our way, but it's the way that's been done. Alistair Gold is now saying the deal is now close enough to the two clubs finding an agreement after that breakthrough this afternoon. As David Ornstein has said, the medical could take place within the next 48 hours. So Alistair Gold tweeting in the last couple of seconds, confirming that a medical could take place in the next 48 hours. He's saying it's rather late over there in Korea as Daniel Levy tries to get this deal over the line. But with Walker-Peters, I think Tottenham have many backup options in this position. If for whatever reason we couldn't get that deal for Djed Spence over the line, there were many other options. We know there's been Serie A names mentioned. Joachim Mela from Atalanta. There's Nahuel Molina from Udinese as well. There was, of course, Wilfried Singo from Torino. There's another name that isn't quite coming to me at the moment. Destiny Udogie, or is he maybe in the left? But there were a lot of alternative options. Kyle Walker-Peters, I assume, is just one who is in a list of many, if those links are, of course, true. It was interesting timing that the leak of the £30 million buyback clause came out from David Ornstein. Again, he didn't say there was that clause, but it's believed that there was that within the deal that saw Tottenham sell Kyle Walker-Peters to Southampton. So it's very interesting timing, and I don't think we can sit here and say the Kyle Walker-Peters talk didn't have any effect on the Spence deal, because I think it would be rather remiss to kind of ignore that possibility. But yeah, it's one that's finally going to get over the line. For me, the longer this went on, the more I felt it was kind of a smokescreen, and that we were going to try and sort something else out. Again, with any of those names you mentioned earlier, or indeed with a name that hadn't even been mentioned yet. I know a lot of Tottenham fans were saying very, very confident in saying that it could be Achraf Hakimi who could be coming in, and that was never going to happen. But while this deal dragged on, it kind of felt as though Fabio Paratici could be working on something elsewhere. But it just was a difficult negotiation. It was a tough negotiation for Tottenham and for the Middlesbrough chairman, Steve Gibson. But an agreement is very, very close indeed. And I'm at the point where I can't really get excited about this, because I've gotten so excited about it so many times. And look, again, as I've said from minute one, I'm not entirely sold on this transfer. I think if we were looking for a starting right wing back next season, we would have aimed higher. We would have aimed bigger. But I just get excited whenever player comes into Spurs. I was excited when we got Josh Keeley and Tyrell Ashcroft. I'm always going to get excited about that. But the first time he said a deal agreed, I was bought in. I was really excited. The next time, a little bit less excitement. The next time. So the excitement is there that we're going to sign a new player, but it's certainly nowhere near what it would have been if this had gone to plan all the way through from Spurs and trying to get this deal over the line. But look, it's a very exciting signing for the future more than now. I mean, Djed Spence has, to be fair, at the age he's at, he has decent experience behind him as well. He's 21 years of age, and as David Ornstein says, Spence began his career in Fulham's academy, where he would have played with Ryan Sessegnon, but moved to Middlesbrough in the summer of 2018. He won EFL Young Player of the Month in January 2020. The defender made 63 appearances for the North East side before moving on loan to Nottingham Forest last summer. Spence made 39 appearances for Forest last season, starring under manager Steve Cooper as they reached the playoff final and won promotion to the Premier League. He made his debut for England under-21s in March and has gone on to make 3 appearances. I think he scored an own goal in some of their postseason friendlies earlier last month, but we'll try to ignore that as best we can. But yeah, look, a player with decent experience for the age he's at, but again, I think it's undeniable the potential that he does have, and the kind of, I don't know if to call it a nasty streak or that bite, but he's a character. Again, we always go back to that tweet he put up on Twitter after the game promotion, the little dig at Neil Warnock. He according to some Middlesbrough fans, he has an attitude problem. I don't really think that is particularly backed up. I mean, it's an attitude problem if he doesn't match the kind of confidence and all that on the pitch with his ability. So I think from a Middlesbrough perspective, when he wasn't playing quite well for them, it's easy to call that an attitude problem. But when he goes to Forest and stars potentially the best right back in the league, ironically challenged by Isaiah Jones, who's actually playing for Middlesbrough, when he's playing well on the pitch, you don't call it an attitude problem. You call it, a bit of character, a bit of confidence, that sort of thing. So we're bringing in another character, like a Richarlison. He's the type of player that maybe the opposition fans will hate, but you can't help but love. And again, he knows what a trophy is, which is always a positive. Of course, winning the playoffs with Nottingham Forest last season as they returned to the Premier League after a lengthy absence. But look, just the news of the hour is that Tottenham are close, very, very close, finally, to agreeing this deal with Middlesbrough to get it over the line. Again, it's according to Lyle Thomas, £12.5 million upfront, rising to £20 million if all add-ons are met. So let me know your thoughts on that one in the live chat. If you're watching on the replay, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do make sure to hit like on this video if you on the stream if you haven't already. We have 473 watching and only 76 likes. Sort yourself out and smash that like button down below. It's a big help to anyone who streams or posts on YouTube, so please do that. If you haven't already as well, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. I expect things to quieten down a little bit after this one, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of news on outgoings with Tanguy Ndombele, Giovanni Lo Celso, Harry Winks, Sergio Reguilon, who could be close to a move to Sevilla. We expect to see a lot of advancements on those in the coming days and coming weeks as well. So do hit the subscribe button down below if you want to be kept right up to date with all of that Tottenham transfer business here. Your number one place on YouTube to be kept up to date with that Tottenham transfer news. Jack says, thank you for reminding me to like. Thank you for liking, Jack. I appreciate it. Again, let me know your thoughts everywhere. Follow me on Twitter at MattHayesTHFC. Let me know your thoughts there. If you have my address, send me a letter. Let me know your thoughts there. But from me, for now, and as always, thank you so much for watching.